Good morning, students. Now we are going to discuss on the title Context Free Grammars. So, from Unit 2 of your Principles of Compiler Design subject, this is going to be one of the very important topic that we have to concentrate on because using this particular topic, we used to study more subtopics in Unit 2. So this is going to be one of the very important topic in Unit 2. So whatever the concepts and whatever the terminologies that we're going to study over here, that could be applicable in many subtopics, whatever that we have in this particular chapter. So I want you people to concentrate much on this particular topic as context free grammars. So grammars are nothing but you have some rules or you have some syntactic structure that to be followed for generating a parse tree or for creating your syntax tree. So these are the steps or rules or procedures that you people have to be followed. So that's about context free grammars. So here we won't have any context, but we have some set of rules that to be followed but without any context. That's why we used to call it as an context free grammars. And then in this introduction part, we used to describe about the syntax of programming language constructs. For example, to denote an expression or to denote a statement. So instead of mentioning it with some complete words, we used to use as some key terms like expr to denote the expression, or to use stmt to denote the statements. So using these syntactic variable, generally we used to construct these context free grammars. So here we have an example that if capitals, if opening bracket expr, closing bracket, and then statement else statement. So using an if, we are going to check some expression as to check some condition. If the condition is going to be true, we are going to use a particular statement. Suppose if the condition is going to be false, we are going to use some other statement. That's been described simply using this particular grammatical structure for conditional statements. Here, which is going to review about the definition for CFG, and we have some more terminologies that to be discussed in context free grammars. And so as per this introduction, you have to concentrate on. So instead of using some big words, we are going to use some simple words to define context free grammars. And then to define these context free grammars, we have some terminologies that to be uh, discussed. So here in the next slide, we are going to discuss on those terminologies, whatever that we are going to use in this context free grammars. So these are the formal definitions of context free grammars, are the terminologies that we are going to use in context free uh, grammars. So we have some four important key points in this formal definitions of context free grammars. The first one, which is about terminals, and second one, which is about non-terminals, and third one, which is about start symbol, and fourth one, which is about production. So these are the four important things that we have related to context free grammars as terminals, non-terminals, start symbol, and productions. And here the terminals, which is nothing but your basic symbol from which the strings are formed. So whatever the token name, whatever the keywords that we are going to use in your lexical analysis phase, are the output of your lexical analyzer, which is going to act like an terminals for us. So the terminals, which is nothing but your input string, whatever that we have. are input string that we are going to derive out of this context-free grammars. The terminal, which is going to be an important one for us. And the next one is about non-terminal. So non-terminals is nothing but syntactic variables, which is going to denote some set of strings. The words like STMT or AXPR, which are examples for non-terminals um, in this construction of parse tree. Uh, and then the third one, which is about your start symbol. So one of the non-terminal which is going to act like in start symbols. But the importance of start symbol is whenever that you're going to apply the productions. So context-free grammars is nothing but productions. So this is very very important. You must not get confused between CFG and the term CFG and productions. So CFG means your context-free grammar. Simply we use your context grammar. So you will have some set of productions over there. Where each and every production or each and every components in those collection of productions we used to call it as in simply as in production. So here the start symbol is nothing but any one of the non-terminal which is going to act like an start symbol for us. And then from the start symbol only we have to start our process, parsing process. So that's going to be a very important one in using start symbol. And then next one which is about productions. The productions are nothing but um, the derivation rules, replacement rules, reducing rules that to be followed um, in using the grammars. So that's about productions. While using productions, we used to use some symbols like arrow symbols or double colon equal to. So we could use either of these symbols to denote derivations or to denote reductions. We could use any one of these symbols. Mm. So these are the various terminologies that we have in context-free grammars. So normally the grammar which used to define some simple arithmetic expressions. So here we have an example. For example, ID, then plus, and then you have some very arithmetic operator plus minus asterisk, and then a slash, and then opening bracket and closing bracket. So these are some of the terminal symbols that we have related to arithmetic expressions. And then these are the some basic grammar we have related to simple arithmetic expressions, where the first production expression which gives expression plus term, which is going to be the first production, and then you have second production, so instead of plus which is being replaced with minus. And then so expression which could also be mentioned as term, and that particular term could be converted into term asterisk factor or term slash factor, or the term simply as factor alone, where factor could be an expression with an parenthesis or factor could be an id. So these are all which is going to be an example for productions. So here the start symbol is nothing but your expression which is going to act like an start symbol for us, and in between the start symbol and the id is nothing, id which is going to be in terminal for us, and then the arithmetic operator which is going to act like a terminal for us, and then all those remaining things whatever that we have in this production which is going to act like an non-terminal for us. So the conventions will be like this: start symbol, non-terminal, non-terminal to further some other non-terminal, and non-terminal finally to a terminal. So these are the conversion process that we have over here in this context-free grammars. Students concentrate on this particular topic, context-free grammar, and whatever the terminologies or notations that we are using in context-free grammars, and the terminologies like terminals, non-terminals, dot symbols, and productions. So, and then how we are applying it in deriving a parse tree in parsing process. So these are various important things related to context free grammars. Thank you, students. Thank you for listening. Thank you.